One of the most hotly contested market segments is the executive saloon sector, but until the Jaguar XE arrived in 2015, the British manufacturer had been rather lacking in this arena. Its previous stab, the Jaguar XE type, had lacked the provenance usually associated with the brand and was styled far too traditionally, failing to attract younger buyers in sufficient numbers. Those aren't accusations that can be leveled at the Slinky XE. It's a direct rival to the Audi A4 saloon, BMW 3 Series saloon and Mercedes-Benz C-Class saloon, as well as more left-field choices such as the Infiniti Q50 and Lexus IS. Aluminium construction boosts efficiency, helping reduce the XE's heft as its aluminium-intensive construction and lighter weight equates to greater efficiency, particularly combined with Jaguar's efficient family of 2.0-litre, 4-cylinder Ingenium petrol and diesel engines. Opt for the entry-level diesel with a manual gearbox, and Jaguar cites an official claim of 75.0 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of just 99 grams/km. Of course, Jaguar's ethos has historically centered around performance, and sight hasn't been lost of this. The XE lineup's crowned by a 380 horsepower 3.0-litre supercharged V6 petrol engine, mighty enough to propel this compact four-door from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 5 seconds flat. Driver-sating appeal. That inherent lightness also pays dividends in terms of the XE's agility, combined with rear-wheel drive handling. All-wheel drive is also available on selected models. The Jaguar is one of the most entertaining saloons you can buy, yet it still rides comfortably. There are several electronic systems to aid the driver, including Jaguar's Drive Control, also seen on the larger XF and XJ saloons, which enable the driver to select different handling characteristics such as comfort and sport. You also get an all-surface progress control (ASPC) system that maximizes traction no matter what the conditions, including dealing with snow or ice. Modern interior with relevant tech. Forget notions of a plank of highly polished brown wood dominating the dashboard. The XE's cabin is more contemporary than that. In fact, it's borderline minimalist, but in a way that makes it look ordinary. There's leather, slivers of veneered timber if you want it, and contemporary Jaguar switchgear, but some of the plastics feel too low rent to be convincing in the company the XE keeps. Some highlights are there, though. The multimedia systems are a leap ahead of Jaguar's previous efforts, especially the larger screened in-control Touch Pro package, while its safety credentials are reinforced with an autonomous slow-speed braking system and a pop-up bonnet for improved pedestrian protection. The verdict: the XE is a great addition to the ranks of the medium-sized executive saloons. It looks good, is awed by an efficient range of engines, and cramped rear seat aside, has a nicely set-up interior. It's not perfect, though. The interior quality isn't near the top of the class, and lags badly behind the head of their pack Audi A4, while there are some question marks being raised about the car's reliability. But if you're a keen driver, and want to stand out from the crowd, there's a lot to recommend the Jaguar XE. Read the full Jaguar XE saloon review to find out if this pretender to the compact executive throne can challenge Audi's, BMW's and Mercedes sales dominance. Efficient 4-cylinder petrols and diesels. More powerful 3.0-litre twin-turbo diesel available. Best for performance is 3.0-litre supercharged petrol. Performance is still at the heart of the way the Jaguar XE drives, but its lightweight aluminium construction and relatively compact engines enables efficiency to prevail, on paper, at least. Popular suite of diesels. 3 diesels are offered in the XE, all based on the same 4-cylinder turbocharged unit but tweaked for different power outputs. Most efficient is the 2.0-litre 163 horsepower rear-wheel drive version, producing 380 Nm from 1,750 revolutions per minute, with claimed figures of 75.0 miles per gallon and 99 grams/km of CO2 for the 6-speed manual model. Top speed is 132 miles per hour, as it is for the optional 8-speed automatic variant, although at 8.4 seconds the manual is 0.2 of a second slower in the 0 to 62 miles per hour sprint. Offering more grunt is the 180 horsepower edition of the same motor known as the 20D, producing 430 Nm of torque. Manual and automatic versions post identical 140 miles per hour top speeds and 7.8 second 0 to 62 miles per hour times, but there's also an all-wheel drive automatic to consider. All-wheel drive also available in 20D AWD format. The top speed remains at 140 miles per hour, but the 0 to 62 miles per hour time is fractionally drawn out to 7.9 seconds. featuring a 240 horsepower twin-turbo iteration of the engine with standard automatic transmission and all-wheel drive, is the 25D AWD, topping the diesel range. Torques ramped up to 500 Nm from 1,500 revolutions per minute, equating to a 155 mph top speed and a 6.1 second 0 to 62 mph time. Despite this, Jaguar still claims 54.4 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of 137 grams/km. Torques ramped up to 500 Nm from 1,500 revolutions per minute, equating to a 155 mph top speed and a 6.1 second 0 to 62 mph time. Despite this, Jaguar still claims 54.4 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of 137 grams/km. As those figures suggest, acceleration from the 25D is more than brisk enough for most drivers. However, the gruff diesel engine means it's nowhere near as refined as the 190 horsepower 2.0-litre diesel available in the Audi A4 or the car's 3.0-litre six-cylinder units with 218 horsepower and 272 horsepower. The 240 horsepower motor doesn't feel as at home in the XE as the larger XE either, where it feels like a better fit for the car. Short gearing for the standard fit automatic gearbox emphasizes the sense of speed, though the flip side is that the XE seems to change gear more than is necessary, as it has so many cogs to choose from. Thankfully, the gearbox is slick enough that it's unobtrusive enough most of the time. Petrol-powered alternative, the original four-cylinder petrols were ousted at the start of 2017 with a pair of Ingenium units taking their place, both are 2.0-litre turbocharged units. First up is the 20 tons, a 200 horsepower version producing 320 Nm of torque from 1,200 revolutions per minute and sending its power to the rear wheels via an 8-speed automatic gearbox. It'll reach a top speed of 148 miles per hour with a 0 to 62 miles per hour time of 7.1 seconds. Fundamentally the same engine appears in uprated form in the 25 tons and 25 tons AWD XEs, producing 250 horsepower and 365 Nm of torque. Both are electronically governed to 155 miles per hour, while the all-wheel drive model is a tenth of a second quicker in the 0 to 62 miles per hour sprint with a time of 6.2 seconds. As with the 240 horsepower diesel, there's plenty of punch from the more powerful 2.0-litre petrol model. Refinement is somewhat lacking, however, with the engine feeling loud and coarse when worked hard. We found the 250 horsepower unit less sporty than the old model and not refined enough to compensate on a luxury front. The automatic gearbox also feels a little mismatched here. Select dynamic drive mode, which you need to do for weightier steering, and the car holds on to gears for way too long, hardly fitting for a Jaguar. There is an all-wheel drive option with this engine, though this reduces claimed fuel economy and hinders the feeling of acceleration due to the extra 50 kilograms or so being lugged around. That additional weight means that this XE doesn't feel quite as brisk as you might expect considering the power on tap. Flagship XE Performance Flagship is the 3.0-litre supercharged V6 reserved for the XE, producing 380 horsepower, a 40 horsepower increase at the start of 2017, and 450 Nm of torque from 3,500 revolutions per minute. Rear-wheel drive and automatic transmission are the only drivetrain permutations. But while the top speed is electronically capped at 155 miles per hour like the 25 tons models, the 0 to 62 miles per hour dash requires just 5 seconds flat to complete. Reasonably agile handling, ride comfort isn't compromised. Do you really need all-wheel drive? The British company has focused heavily on how well the Jaguar XE handles because it was keen to deliver a car that really appeals to driving enthusiasts. It's partly succeeded. At speed it feels assured and agile, and more than capable of sweeping through bends at speed. Push harder, however, and the all-wheel drive versions feel somewhat soft, with the front end sliding wide at reasonably low speeds. Around town the steering is very light and responsive, and means parking maneuvers can be completed with little effort on the steering wheel. Though the sharp steering does make the car feel agile, it is overly light at higher speeds, which means that the XE is not the most fun or engaging model for keener drivers. The soft suspension means that while the steering is sharp, the body rolls a little more than you'd expect for a car with a sporty billing. Comfort seems to be the main priority, at least in the all-wheel drive versions. Plenty of technology to flatter the driver. The XE is packed with driver aids, however, including a stability control system that helps prevent accidents from loss of traction, and technology called torque vectoring by braking, TVBB, that utilizes the car's inside brakes when cornering to help pull the car into a tighter turn. It means if you go into a corner faster than you might wish, the torque vectoring seamlessly kicks in to keep the car on the optimum line through the corner. It's virtually impossible to notice as the intervention is subtle and aids safe driving too. The system is fitted as standard to all XEs. For those who are more concerned about ride comfort and city driving, the XE delivers here, too. The ride feels supple and able to isolate passengers from rough, pockmarked roads with considerable ease. Again, the all-wheel drive models are less impressive, with the suspension failing to insulate passengers from bumps in the road as well as it could, though it's still pretty comfortable on all but the roughest roads. Consequently, we'd be cautious about opting for the more expensive all-wheel drive, AWD, system. It works well, perhaps too well, as it reins in the playfulness of the XE's rear end when it's being driven hard, but few people in the UK live in areas where such a system is necessary. Winter tires are a much more cost-effective solution for dealing with cold, slippery roads. Cabin envelopes those in the front seats clean, simple design with few buttons. Pity it doesn't feel as high quality as rivals. Jaguar has focused on providing the driver with a wrapped around cabin that helps make you feel part of the XE. The door trims rise to shoulder height with a thick sill at the top, that wraps around the dashboard, just below the windscreen. In true to form style, the center console is set higher than many rivals, making you feel snug but not cramped. Both the analog and optional digital instrumentation binnacles are easy to read, while the central touch screen is easy to use, especially on higher spec models with the 10.2-inch Control Touch Pro package. It's quick to respond with sharp graphics. A simple control layout selecting desired ventilation settings and, where fitted, heated seats is easy to work on the move, while all other controls use a simple layout and avoid the clutter of myriad buttons and knobs that plague some other cars. The multi-function steering wheel fitted as standard to every XE is also straightforward to use, with the cruise control functions fitted on one side and audio and driving information adjustments on the other. The only downside is while the look and feel of the cabin is both robust and looks decent, the material used on the top of the dashboard feels too plasticky despite it looking pleasingly tactile. Audi still leads the class in this regard. Comfortable cabin, but on the snug side, ride comfort remains a Jaguar hallmark. Opt for the portfolio for lashings of leather. Jaguar is famed for creating cushy, supremely comfortable cars, and the XE is focused on providing a smooth, comfy ride. Up front, the driver and passenger have sports-style seats that provide reasonable shoulder and thigh support even when cornering, while there is plenty of adjustment to ensure that most drivers can find a position to suit. Higher specification models, such as the portfolio trim, feature electrically powered adjustment plus full leather interior. Depending on your size, the sports seats in our sport models aren't the most supportive, with the flat seats not providing the greatest back support or grip around bends. Less than perfect comfort as a result. We found that these weren't the most comfortable for longer drives, with the flat seat base leaving one of our team with a numb bum and leg after even a relatively short trip. Therefore, you'll want to ensure you get an extended test drive before buying an XE to be certain it's comfortable for you. Rear seat passengers don't fare as well for space, as is typical of this class, but there is good legroom and plenty of head and shoulder room for 2 adults or 3 small children to travel in comfort. The ride is particularly impressive as it's not only supple but it also manages to prevent minor potholes and pockmarked tarmac from being transmitted through to the cabin. It's an impressive feat given some of the broken, gnarly roads found in Britain. 4-wheel drive limitations. We found all-wheel drive versions less adept at dealing with bumps, however, as they failed to isolate passengers from the road surface as much as you'd hope on rough tarmac. There's also a little more road and tire noise than you'd hope, which detracts from comfort on longer trips. It's far from bad, but the Audi A4 is a quieter place to be at motorway speeds. Mostly well-equipped range middle, top-level models. The best go easy on the options. There are 5 Jaguar trim levels to choose from to suit different budgets and tastes. Entry-level say, then R Sport and S on the sporty side, with Prestige and Portfolio trim being more luxurious. Standard Jaguar XE saloon equipment. Jaguar ownership starts with the XE trim, which nets cloth seats, gloss black interior finishes, sat-nav, cruise control, 17-inch alloy wheels, DAB radio, an 8.0-inch in-control touch media system and multi-function steering wheel. In terms of safety kit and driver aids, you also secure autonomous emergency braking, electronic stability control, torque vectoring by braking, all-surface progress control and pedestrian protecting active bonnet. In addition to the SE trim, Prestige comes with a leather interior with contrasting stitching, heated front seats, ambient blue lighting and brushed aluminium door inserts. Opt for the luxurious portfolio and UX will additionally come equipped with glove soft perforated leather, double contrast stitching, gloss back and chrome exterior detailing in 18-inch alloy wheels. The R Sport version is all about conveying an athletic look, so it features a subtle rear spoiler, chrome trim on the side vents, sports steering wheel, heated front sports seat and stiffened sports suspension. And just to make sure you know this is the sports version, the tread plates and steering wheel feature R Sport branding. Also fitted as standard are bi-xenon headlights with LED signature daytime running lights, and gloss black window surrounds, plus two-tone 18-inch alloy wheels. The least fancy name but the most fancy in terms of standard kit, belongs to the top-of-the-range S version, exclusively available with the 3.0-litre supercharged V6. Buyers benefit from heated, perforated leather front seats, leather sports steering wheel with S logo, aluminium door finishes and gloss black center console. On the outside there are enlarged air intakes, side sill extensions, rear spoiler, red brake calipers and 19-inch alloys. S model owners also receive a Meridian audio system, keyless entry and power-operated boot lid. Optional Jaguar XE accessories. There are a host of interior and exterior changes buyers can specify depending on trim, including two-tone leather, different interior hues as well as optional exterior colors. There is also the option of a head-up display that projects high-contrast color information onto the window screen, including current speed, turn-by-turn navigation instructions, traffic signs and cruise control settings. There is a park assist function that can help steer the XE into a parking bay or perform parallel parking maneuvers. All the driver has to do is control the brakes and accelerator. Also part of the system is a reverse traffic detection system that warns drivers when reversing if there is any approaching traffic from either side. Buyers can also enhance the audio system with a premium Meridian setup plus upgrades to the InControl Touch Pro package, complete with a 10.2-inch touch screen. Full 5-star crash test score from Euro NCAP. Wide range of safety kit fitted as standard. Further safety kit is optionally available. Jaguar had the XE's safety credentials underlined when it received a full 5-star rating from the crash test experts at Euro NCAP. Its inherent strength is derived from the extensive use of aluminium in the XE's construction, supplemented by the usual fitment of all-round airbags and ISOFIX child seat mounting points. The XE is also fitted as standard with a range of driver aids to help prevent an accident in the first place, including anti-lock brakes, electronic stability control, torque vectoring by braking, TVBB, that helps a car get round a corner if taken a little faster than normal, and an automatic braking system that helps prevent the car crashing into objects in front if the driver fails to take action. Another highlight is all-surface progress control that is designed to find grip and get the XE rolling on even the most slippery of surfaces. Lane keeping assist, which helps gently steer the car to keep it within the confines of the white lines, and blind spot assist to warn you of approaching traffic from behind remain on the options list. Finally, pedestrians will also be better protected in the event of a front-end crash with an XE thanks to the deployable bonnet that rises up to provide a better cushion to help absorb impacts. Cabin is on the tight side for passengers. Boot is usefully large, though foot-operated electric boot lid from 2017. Compact saloons aren't best known for being paragons of flexibility, but the Jaguar XE falls short of even those modest expectations, primarily because its interior is snug for passengers. Usefully, the boot is large enough to swallow a couple of large suitcases, plus a few soft bags, and from the start of 2017 an electric opening function was added, activated with the foot wiggle under the rear bumper. Inside the cabin there are a couple of cup holders, plus under the armrest a small storage area including USB connections, a 12-volt socket and an O-in jack point. The glove box is a reasonable size, but the door bins will struggle to hold any container much larger than a drinks can. Rear parking sensors come as part of the package of all XEs, while higher-end trims additionally benefit from ones at the front and a 360-degree camera system.